Hello everyone, my name is Izaz Badsha, and this is my project for PIDP 3330, Facilitating Learning Online Design. Just so you know a little bit about me, I work at BCIT in a program called Nuclear Medicine. It's a 2-year diploma program. It's very hands-on, lots of simulation, and the students that I end up working with are second-year students, so they're very close to finishing the program and focus a lot on the simulating what they're going to be doing out in the hospital. Some of the documents that kind of guide our content. One is the CMRT competency profile. And so what CMRT stands for is Canadian Association of Medical Radiation Technologists. And they've got this national competency profile, and it lists a whole bunch of different competencies that they want our students, they want our technologists to be able to do. And these competencies, they are outlined in our course outline. There are the learning outcomes. And so the learning outcomes for the course that I'm doing are kind of listed here, where it's kind of performing and looking and evaluating the quality of the images, the things that you're doing. And Accreditation Canada comes and ensures that our things here are aligned between the CMRT competency profile and our course outline. Now, the only tricky thing with this is twofold. One is that the CMRT, they're updating their competency profile so that the exams that start in May of 2024, so a year from now, follow a different competency profile. And at the same time, the nuclear medicine program at BCIT is undergoing a curriculum review, curriculum change. And so this competency profile that I kind of highlighted over here, as well as our course outline, will no longer be valid in kind of a year's time. And so what we are doing is changing things to kind of match up so that when Accreditation Canada comes next, they're happy. So we're in a little bit of flux at the moment. But what I want to do with this project is kind of get a head start almost. Kind of get a module in to figure out how I might be aligning things, changing things for the next iteration of this course. So for the competency versus outcome, I chose to go with outcome-based because of the lot of simulation that we're doing, integrating knowledge that you've gotten before, whether it's from physics or from radiopharmacy courses, and applying everything into the actual imaging, actual acquisitions. And like I mentioned earlier, our students are at an advanced level. And so I decided to use Fink's taxonomy for my design approach. I found that it was I kind of related really well to it, and kind of reading the article, it made sense using those different learning outcomes to match with my course. And using the Fink's taxonomy, I came up with a 3-column table, which I will share here. So 6 different kinds of different learning outcomes: foundational, application, integration, human dimension, caring, and learning to learn. I kind of came up with one for each of them, although a couple are kind of almost combined. And I posted different activities that I could do potentially to kind of work with my big, hairy, audacious goal, which was for one of the modules is to utilize a gamma camera to acquire useful diagnostic quality images, because these are what are needed for us to produce a good positive outcome for the patient. And so kind of spend a little bit of time here going through my different learning outcomes. So for foundational, so identify the different components of the gamma camera, which they've been taught in various other courses. And what's been done in the past is they've come in, I go over a PowerPoint with them, then we kind of walk around the camera where I point it out. Students didn't really enjoy it as much. So I want to change this up a little bit. I want to kind of go in, make videos, post the videos, have them review it before they come to class. And then when they come to class, kind of just do a scavenger hunt where I list the different parts of the gamma camera and they go in and find, excuse me, the different components. I thought that would be easier than kind of just coming in and looking at me while I talk, like you guys are now. So application, learning outcome, use the gamma camera to take images of the patient. So in a case like this, I would have kind of multiple case studies, and the students use the gamma camera, they position the patient, acquire scans, we'll look at the images and kind of take a look, see what they would see when they were out in the hospital environment. And to assess this, what I would do is make a checklist, and the checklist would make sure the camera is in the right orientation, the patient is positioned in the right spot, they're open the right type of a scan, etc. Integration, kind of all the different courses that they have are kind of learning all the different pathologies that we use, and that they could kind of connect the dots, so to speak. So if they have a kidney problem, we need them to position the patient into an area where we can actually see the kidneys, which are located on the back, just underneath your ribs. Yeah, so I would use this kind of same checklist. So kind of combine these activities almost for these learning outcomes. Another thing is human dimension. So determine the impact of the images acquired. We are acquiring these on real life patients out in the hospital, but in the school environment, we're just kind of acquiring it on each other. And so what I would want to do is with these case studies, learn about what happened to the patient after. Did they locate the source of cancer? Were they able to treat it? Did they find that there was a break and they had a break in a bone and had to take it easy for a little while? I think that having that human dimension there kind of would make them care more about their work, as well as realizing that it's important what they're doing. And again, this would be just the same checklist. The caring learning outcome kind of reflect on the importance of your work in people's lives. So having that, learning about that patient outcome, your treatment, and kind of reflecting on that, I think would be a good assignment for them to do. Post-reflection, kind of have some group discussion going on online after the lab is over, to kind of tie things together. And the final kind of learning outcome, learning to learn. What I want them to do is develop a learning plan to improve or experience patient acquisitions. So during this part of the course, what the students do is they go out to clinical for about 2 weeks, then they come back to school for another 2 weeks, and then kind of rotate to kind of flip-flop, do the same thing. So what I would want them to do is after they come back from their 2 weeks out of clinical, I want them to kind of come in with some studies or case studies that they kind of had out in the hospital and want to practice on because they just saw it for the first time or they weren't really comfortable with it. And this would help them kind of get comfortable so the next time they're in the hospital or clinical, they would go out and do that. And again, I would want them kind of post reflection and kind of maybe even give each other tips. Some students might have already seen it, some students might not have, and this would kind of help them reinforce their learning. And there's kind of a lot of time for this. I won't be teaching this course under that new competency profile with the new learning outcomes until spring of 2025. But what I want to do in the next couple weeks here is kind of put up a working shell of one of the modules for the Gamma camera and allow myself to kind of get some testing done now, as well as with students that I'll have in the spring of 2024, even though it's using the old learning outcomes, the old competency profile. It could be a good test for me to do before this goes live in spring of 2025. And yeah, I think it'll kind of work out well, and it'll give me a good chance to experiment, try things. During this project, this course, I want to kind of just get the one module done to kind of see how I can do things, get some feedback from other instructors that I work with that have done this course before, that might be doing it in the future, and see if we all kind of mesh well. All the documents that I've shown, I'm going to upload it onto the design forum. So please take a look, and then I look forward to your feedback. Thank you.